Hey kids, welcome to section 8.7, renting a vehicle. Today we're going to calculate the total cost to rent a vehicle and the cost per mile to drive a rented vehicle. Big question for the day is, would you consider purchasing a hybrid vehicle? Why or why not? So some people like to purchase hybrid vehicles because they don't take any gasoline. Is that electric? Hybrids, they're like a mixture of gasoline and electric, and they're generally cleaner for the environment. However, they're more expensive up front. So, something to think about. There are all sorts of different types of cars out there. So, some vocab for today: from time to time, you may need to rent a vehicle. I'll be open with you guys. Usually you have to be 25 in order to rent a vehicle. Sometimes you can be 21 to rent, but usually you have to be older. And when you rent a vehicle, you just use the vehicle by agreeing to pay a set fee. It's not like leasing. You don't have to put any, huge deposit down. Some vehicle rental agencies charge a daily rate plus a per mile rate. So you'd be paying, say, $50 a day, and you'd be paying 10 cents per mile. Others charge a daily rate with no mileage fee. So other places might charge you $60 per day, but they don't have any cap on the mileage. In either case, you pay for all the gasoline used, and you generally have to return the car with a full tank of gas. And if you don't return it for a full tank of gas, they will charge you a lot of money to fill it. You might also have to pay a collision damage waiver or a CDW fee on a rented vehicle. This is basically like insurance. It allows the rental company to fix the car if anything's wrong with it because it was your fault. Now, before you go buying the insurance that the rental car gives you, check with your own insurance company, because a lot of times your regular insurance will also cover rental vehicles. So to find the total cost to rent a car, you're going to take your daily cost, you're going to add any mileage costs that you have, you're going to add any collision waiver costs, and then however much you paid for gasoline. If you add all these up, you get your total cost. If you then want to find the cost per mile, say to compare different cars, you would take the total cost and divide by the number of miles driven. So this will give you an idea of how much it would cost to rent a car. Okay, let's look at some examples. So number one, Joe Wozniak rented a standard SUV in Cleveland for 3 days at $49.95 per day plus 20 cents per mile. He purchased the collision waiver for $24.99 per day. Joe drove 468 miles and paid $66.70 for gasoline. Part A, what is the total cost to rent the SUV? So the total cost is going to be your daily fee. So he drove 3 days and $49.95 per day. So 3 days and $49.95 a day. Okay, then let's see. We paid 20 cents per mile, and he drove 468 miles. So 468 miles times 20 cents. He also purchased the collision waiver. It was $24.99 per day. So that would be $24.99, and we had it for 3 days. And he paid $66.70 in gasoline. Okay, so if we do the math, we get $149.85 plus the mileage would be $93.60 plus the CDW would be $74.97, and adding on the gasoline, that's going to give us a total cost of $385.12. So if I want to find the cost per mile to rent the SUV, we take the total cost, $385.12, and we divide by how many miles we drove, which was 468. This is going to give me 82 cents per mile. Okay, so Joe's going to rent this car for 3 days, and he's going to end up paying 82 cents per mile. Mind you, this can change depending on the price per day, whether mileage is included or not, and whether you get the CDW. Okay, number 2, Winona Perry rents a car for $30 a day for 4 days plus 22 cents per mile and does not need a CDW. She drives 430 miles and spends $59.90 on gasoline. What is the total cost to rent the car? Okay, so the total cost is going to be your daily cost, so $30 a day for 4 days. We also have to pay 22 cents per mile, and she drives 430 miles. She has no CDW, so I don't have to add that one on, but she did spend $59.90 in gas. So this gives me 120 plus $94.60 plus $59.90. So this gives me a total of $274.50. If I want to find the cost per mile, I can take the total cost, $274.50, and I can divide by how many miles, which was 430. If I do this, I end up with 64 cents per mile. Keep in mind, kids, these are unit prices, just like in the chapter that we did unit pricing on. It's 64 cents per mile. Notice it's cheaper than car 1. Again, completely different situations. All right, let's take a look at 3 and 4. Number 3, Keisha rents a convertible for 4 days in Los Angeles for $162.50 a day. So 4 days, $162.50. Okay, 4 days, $162.50. She gets unlimited miles, so we don't have to pay per mile. That's nice. She also pays a CDW fee of $45.75 per day. Okay, so again, 4 days, $45.75 per day. She drives 42 miles each day and pays a total of $28.93 in gasoline. What is Keisha's cost per mile to rent the convertible? Okay, so I need to find this total cost, and then we'll deal with total mileage. So 4 times 162.50 is 650. 4 times 45.75 is 183 plus the 28.93. That's going to give us a total cost of $861.93. Okay, so now I need to find total miles. So it says she drove 42 miles each day and she was driving for 4 days. So 4 times 42, that's going to give me 168 miles. So now to find the cost per mile, I'm going to take the total money, $861.93, and I'm going to divide by total miles, 168. Notice this time we get $5.13 per mile. Now keep in mind this is a convertible. Keep in mind I don't have to pay for mileage. I could have driven 1,000 miles and that wouldn't matter. But it does come out to be kind of expensive at $5.13 per mile. Okay, number 4, Mark Young needs a moving truck for 3 days. He can rent a 12-foot truck for $60 a day plus $1 per mile, or a 16-foot truck for $75 a day plus $1.30 per mile. He expects to make 3 trips in the smaller truck or 2 trips in the larger truck. He estimates gasoline would cost a total of $59.90 in the small $59 in the small truck and $80 in the large truck. It is 50 miles round trip to his new condo. How much would it cost per mile to rent each truck? Okay, so we got a 12-foot truck. We'll do that one first. And then we'll do a 16-foot truck. Okay, 12-foot truck. $60 a day, and there are 3 days. So 3 times 60. It doesn't look like we have any CDW, so no additional waivers need to be purchased. The small truck had $59 in gasoline. And now we have to pay per mile. So $1 per mile. We make 3 trips, and each trip is 50 miles round trip. So we can do $1 per mile. We got 3 trips, and each trip is 50 miles. So if I add this up, I get 180 plus 59 plus, and a dollar times 3 times 50 is 150. So that's going to give me a total price of 389. Now it does say we have to find the cost per mile. So if I divide this by total miles, well, remember he made 3 trips at 50 miles apiece, so that's 150 miles. So let's divide it by 150 miles. And that's going to give me 259 per mile. That's for the 12-foot truck. Then we have a 16-foot truck. So we still have 3 days, and the bigger truck is $75 per day. Gas is $80 now. Mileage is $1.30 per mile. We make 2 trips, and each trip is still 50 miles. So that's going to give me 225 plus 80 plus, and then $1.30 times 2 times 50. That gives me 130. That's a total of 435. Then I got to divide by the mileage. Well, you made 2 50-mile round trips. That's 100 miles. So we get $4.35 per mile. Ooh, that one's expensive. So part B says, which truck is the better value? Well, the 12-foot truck is a better value because the unit price is cheaper, because it has a lower unit price. 12-foot. Okay, so be very careful with your mileage. There's lots of numbers going on. Just go slow, go number by number. And remember that you are just renting the car, so you're going to want to compare. That's the whole point of the unit prices. All right, kids, if you have any questions, let me know. And as always, keep calm and keep trucking.